Joe Biden was on the Howard Stern show right here on Sirius XM. I've never been told by the bosses at Sirius XM what to say, what not to say. But I'm going to use good judgment here. And I'm going to control my tongue when it comes to by far the highest paid man on Sirius. Is that fair? And I assume there's money coming back and he's paying my salary. So you can come to your own conclusion. You don't need me to walk you through this one. This is the intro of Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, on the Howard Stern show in SiriusXM World Headquarters in New York City. And try to imagine if you would have ever heard Howard Stern introduce anyone like this in 1994.
You know, the reason I'm so excited to talk to you was because I wanted to understand the tragedy in your life and how you dealt with it. And you're the kind of leader I love because we're lucky to have you in the Oval Office and serving as the father of the country. Because if you're a good father...
Hold on. Father of the country? What is that? Who's ever said that? The father of the country is George Washington. I've never heard the president referred to as the father of the country. Have you ever heard that ever? I guess Milo used to call him Daddy Trump or whatever. I don't know if he still does. But I've never heard you're the father of the country. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. Maybe that's an expression, but I've never heard that.
Serving as the father of the country, because if you're a good father to your family, which you are, I know you'd be a good father to the country, and I want to thank you for providing a
good. Are you a good father? Are you? I don't even know about that one. But okay, all right, let's go.
I know you'd be a good father to the country, and I want to thank you for providing a calming influence, an organized administration post-COVID, getting that vaccine out. I remember what the world was like at that point, getting NATO, getting us to feel comfortable, standing up to...
What does getting NATO mean? Getting NATO. What is getting NATO?
Getting NATO.
Go back to that. Getting NATO.
I remember what the world was like at that point, getting NATO, getting us to feel comfortable.
That was the thought. Getting NATO. Getting NATO what? To pay up? Because that's what Trump did. What are you getting NATO?
I remember what the world was like at that point, getting NATO, getting us to feel comfortable, standing up to Putin, the incredible large growth in the jobs, unemployment rate down. I'll give you your greatest hits. The lowest uninsured rate in history, 4 out of 5 Americans are covered for less than $10 a month. Knocking off a few ISIS leaders, cutting the emissions in half. I mean, you've always been an environmentalist, you know.
What is that? Cutting the emissions in half. That is, I don't know what that is. All right, listen, I'll save my Howard Stern comments. You got them. Let's talk about Biden in this because you got to see it. Let me retweet it out here. You can go to Slater Radio on Twitter. You can see it because you got to watch it. You got to see it. It's important. So one of Howard Stern's tricks is his stage, his platform is elevated, like literally, physically, like he's sitting up high, like a pharmacist. he's like a step up, higher than everyone else, and he looks down physically, like his guests are down low. So he's towering over his guests. He's a giant person too. So he's big up here. And on his old set, his guest would sit on a really like absurdly comfortable couch, one where you like sink in, you like lose yourself in the couch and your knees are up higher than your waist. You know, so the person would sink into the couch and it would make them very vulnerable. So Howard Stern had this like power dynamic over the whoever his guest was, and it made them say things that they wouldn't otherwise say. Now his set's a little different. He's still up higher than everyone. But the person being interviewed, they're not on this big, comfortable couch. They're sitting in the middle of an awkwardly large room with a awkwardly tiny chair, totally exposed. There's no table in front of them. And they just have a microphone on a stand to the side. even. So there's nothing in front of you, which is a weird, vulnerable spot to be sitting
And
in.
I'm so excited to talk to you was because I wanted to
Sorry, I don't know why that played again. You're in this weird. I'm so excited. So it's like the guest is sitting in an awkward space, and very open, very vulnerable. And Howard is hidden behind a bunch of computer screens. There's computer screens all around him, most of them with literally nothing on it. So this is a bunch of computer screens. It's like he's like a priest in a confessional booth. He's kind of like hidden. You're totally open as the guest, and he's hidden. So that's the energy of his set, and it's always been very intentional like that. But what it does, it's fine, I guess, when you're interviewing, I don't know who he interviews, Bon Jovi, I don't know, whatever. But when you have the president of the United States, the father of the country, I've never heard that. When you have the father of the country sitting in that dynamic, it's very small. It makes Joe look very small. It's very unpresidential. It's just small. It's the reason I know this dynamic is true is I'm pretty sure it was Seinfeld. Seinfeld walked out on Stern's set once, onto the set, and said, I'm not sitting down. So it's like, take a seat, Jerry. And Jerry's like, no, I'm not sitting down. I know what you're doing here. I'm not sitting in that couch. You're way up there. I'm way down here. I know what's going on here. Right? So I don't think Trump would ever put himself in that situation. I know Trump's he's a TV guy, right? So Trump has definitely been to places and sets where he's like, this lighting's no good. The camera angle's no good. He wouldn't put himself in that situation looking so small as Biden does right now. And then you got to look at Biden's face. He's got this 10,000-foot stare that's so, I don't know, sad. I'll walk that sad back in just a second here.
5 Americans are covered for less than 10 Putin. Dollars. Incredible.
Hold on.
Large
Total panic.
top.
Panic here. Everything's falling apart. All right, let me play this sound right here. It just sounds like Howard's talking to like an ancient Hollywood actor or something. All right, listen to this.
I learned a lot, and I made a lot of friends. And
Did you ever save anyone's life when you were a lifeguard? Was anyone ever drowning?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, well, half a dozen times. Usually younger kids, but...
You do the thing with the whistle and then jump in the bathing suit? And
you got it.
No kidding.
Yeah, there's a big pool. There were 7 lifeguard stands.
Wow.
I love that. Howard Stern, so fascinated by the size of the pool. How many lifeguards there? 7, you say? Whoa.
You got it.
No kidding.
Yeah, there's a big pool. There were 7 lifeguard stands.
Wow. See, that would define my... I would brag about that everywhere I went.
Well, by the way, I did it up in Lake Ontario, too, when I was in law school. But look, one of the things that...
You saved a dude's life when you were in law school? You were still doing the lifeguard thing?
Lifeguards, people just need help sometimes. It's not like it's so heroic.
It's just weird that Joe's handlers thought that this would be
in that
good idea.
And I looked at my mom, I said, honey, you haven't said anything. She said, Joey, remember, true story, she said, remember when they were desegregating Linfield, the neighborhood, there was, 70 homes built at one, suburbia. And I told you, and there was a black family moving in, and there was people who were down there protesting. I told you not to go down there, and you went down. Remember that? And you got arrested, be standing on the porch with a black family.
Right.
And they brought you back, the police. And I said, yeah, Mom, I remember that.
Yeah, so Joe was arrested when he was a kid for protesting desegregation. That never happened. And it turns out it never did. He tells the story all the time. Even CNN says there's no evidence Biden got arrested during a civil rights protest. Biden has at least twice told the story of his supposed presence at this particular Delaware protest without mentioning any arrest. Now he's got arrested for him. In 2020, he also said he was arrested when he was a senator trying to visit the South African anti-apartheid icon Nelson Mandela while Mandela was imprisoned. He loves getting arrested, or he loves telling stories about being arrested. He's never been arrested, but he likes to tell stories. It increases his street cred. Right? I got one more clip here, speaking of street cred.
For example, I remember starting off playing Catholic League football, CAA football.
By the way, I don't think a lot of people know that you were a star receiver in high school. You were the first string guy. You were the guy who caught the ball.
runner-up in state scoring. You know what the
Wow.
Okay. Oh man. Like, this is the I'm not joking. This is the posture that you take when you go to a nursing home. You're volunteering at a nursing home, or you're going to go visit a family member at a nursing home, and you're reminiscing about the old days. Wow, you were the wide receiver. You were the one who caught the ball. That's a real sentence from Howard Stern. You were the one who caught the ball. Yeah, Howie.
Well, for example, I remember starting off playing Catholic League football, CAO football.
By the way, I don't think a lot of people know that you were a star receiver in high school.
A star receiver. Do people know this? Do people know that you were a star receiver in the powerhouse, the football powerhouse state of Delaware, in the Catholic school league?
Star receiver in high school. A
In
star
high school.
receiver. You were the first string guy. You were the guy who caught the ball.
You were the one who caught the ball. All right. Enough of that. Wow, no kidding. You were the one who caught the ball. Right, Grandpa? Jeez. So that's just perfect. Like, that's just how the media handles Joe. Always have, and now it's so obvious. It's absurd. So he just can't. Can he hide? Can he hide in his basement again? He can't possibly, right? There's no pretext. There's no COVID, so they got to trot him out more than they did in 2020. But the only way they can do that is to make sure that every hit is like this. Every hit is like with the host saying, "You're the father of our country, and you're such a great father to your family that I know you'd be a great father to our country." And you caught the ball. Wow, you caught the ball. You were a star in high school. Gosh, but the problem, they trot him out because they can only put him out and stuff like that. But that then just highlights even more how absurd this whole thing is. Like, what do you mean this guy's like? What do you mean this guy's running for president? And it's like, oh, no, he is the president. Like, what? How? So he was asked if he'd debate Trump, and Biden said, I am somewhere. I don't know when, but I'm happy to debate him. All right, here's what Trump said. Crooked Joe Biden just announced that he's willing to debate. Everyone knows he doesn't really mean it. But in case he does, I say anywhere, anytime, any place. An old expression used by fighters. I suggest Monday evening, Tuesday evening, or Wednesday evening at my rally in Michigan, a state that he's in the process of destroying with his EV mandate. In the alternative, he's in New York City today, although probably doesn't know it. And so am I, stuck in one of the many court cases that he instigated as election interference against a political opponent, a continuing witch hunt. It's the only way he thinks he can win. In fact, let's do a debate at the courthouse tonight on national television. I'll wait around. So you got to watch it. Go to Slater Radio on Twitter, and you can watch Biden's 10,000-foot stare, and you would have pity on him. So that's why I said it's sad. I said a minute ago it's sad. And it is. If you went to visit someone at a nursing home like that, like if you went, I don't mean to be rude because I've been in this scenario. You go and you visit Grandpa at the nursing home or whatever, at his house or whatever, and you see him and spend time, and then you leave and you talk to the person in the car that you were with, and you say you would all say, "Wow, that was like really sad. Like Grandpa's not doing well." We've all been in that scenario, and you would have pity on Biden if he weren't the president of the United States, and then power hungry enough to want 4 more years. So it's not sad. It'd be sad if he was at the nursing home. But it's much worse than that now. It's much worse. And the more people can see Biden, the better. I hope he does Howard every day. 866-95-PATRIOT. Slater Radio on Twitter. You can watch some of the video of the slobbering opening. The father of our country. I've never heard that. Has anyone ever heard that? Has anyone ever heard the president described as the father? Have you ever talked to about George Bush as the father of our country? Oh, I got to vote for Mitt Romney. I want him to be the father of our country. What is that sentence? That is really messed up. Mike Slater, Breitbart News Daily. Spread the word.